Howdy ho! We are here for our weekly manifestation oracle message. We are just taking a look at the week ahead to see what kind of where we need to put our energy and our focus and our intention and how we need to focus our actions. We are closing out in these moments that I'm making this video, the opening in time and space called Shavuot, where the Israelites received the Torah on Mount Sinai from God. And so this week, that energy is allowing us to have access to miracles that might help us up level or shift into this next level of ourself. Right? Like we've been working towards this and now things are coming into fruition. And so if any week were a week where you were going to pray for a miracle or a breakthrough or clarity or a manifestation to come through, this is the week. Playtime. The dolphins know the importance of playing as joy creates miracles and manifestations. Yes. So, joy and play require trust and surrender. When you can let go, in order to really play and have fun, you got to let go. You can't be holding on for dear life. You can't be all about control during the play. And so when we're playing, we're letting go, we're malleable, we're getting our mind off of things, we're refilling our tank, and it gives us so much inspiration, but it really it recharges our battery for our magnetism. We need to get our hearts stirred awake. And one of the other themes about this week is about coming together in a sense of unity and love and brotherhood and togetherness, right? And so as we, come together within ourselves and we resolve our inner conflicts, we also want to mirror that on the outside and the extrinsic and come together with the people around us in our circles, communities, inner circles. And we want to, let walls and hard feelings melt and come into unity with each other. And, as we come into union with ourselves and one another, and we put that inner conflict and that outer conflict aside, it removes the blocks and obstacles that keep us from uniting with the Creator. And when we are united with the Creator, that's when those moments are when we have that profound sense of inspiration and deep rest inside and peace and a feeling of confidence and certainty that no matter what the circumstances look like at the moment, you just feel like it's all going to be okay, and everything's going to work out, and God has a plan and He's going to help you navigate, what may come what may. And so, yes, that inner rest is what we, I think, receive when we pray or when we pray and when we play. But I think that play is very important, and without it, like if you're an artist or creative person, your energy dwindles and you get burnout and you're not inspired and motivated anymore. And so for me, I know that what I look forward to most about my days off are the moments when I get to play and meander and not think about any kind of structure and just let go. I think that's what I like most about my long walks through the woods, because I just let go of all of the, everything that I have to think about. And I let go of any structure. I let go of trying to think about anything specific or trying not to think about anything specific. And I just relax. I relax my mind and I let my thoughts come forward. And I just think and see what ideas come. And just watch my internal movie reel playing, and I enjoy that. I like spending time with myself and my thoughts and playing in that imaginative space. So see if you can really give yourself some deep rest and deep playtime this week. All right. I have auto pickup set for Thursday, so I hope I don't get that. I hope I don't end up picking that up that shift. Maybe I should just turn it off and like settle into the nice 2-day break. All right. What else do we need to know for this week? What's going to help us? Ooh, pay attention. Notice repetitious signs and your inner guidance, as this can yield valuable information. So watch for the synchronicities coming up and watch for repetitious things. There was like a realization that I had, you know, a couple of them that started, well, I talked about them in last night's video in more depth. But it's like they came in layers, right? These revelations. It's like first I kind of realized this about myself, and then more about that, and I understood deeper and deeper until there was like this, what felt like a spontaneous breakthrough that felt like, oh, a new thought had come through that I'd never thought about, but there was a foundation laid in those, you know, insights. And so watch for those things that keep presenting to you, you know, it might be giving you the missing piece of the puzzle that is left for you to sort of work out before the manifestation can come through. Like, for instance, yesterday I was talking about how I realized that, you know, love and money are both connected under Venus. And I realized that both my career and my love life were at about the same point of the journey and not quite where I wanted them to be. And when I realized that the way that the men that I'd attracted were flaky or non-committal or just like not truly devoted, or they weren't capable of like, you know, giving me like a real relationship, I realized that I was being that guy to myself every time that I left an empty vessel, meaning I made a promise to myself that I didn't keep, or I wasn't being consistent enough with like a certain discipline or my writing routine, certain creative projects, like I wasn't showing up for them like I should. I mean, I'm consistent with this channel and it takes so much time that I have to even get stricter and more disciplined in the rest of my day so that I can build in the kind of time it's going to take to create courses, and that like doing the 2020-25 prediction series and fleshing out my deck and getting that typed in so I can get that published. And I'm not consistent enough with it. And so me not showing up consistently for myself is like me treating myself like this narcissistic guy who comes in, he likes to have fun, he's not serious, he comes and goes, but he's not like watching out for my highest good every day. He's not, you know, watching out, you know, for me and taking good care of me and treating me well because I am doing those things. And so not only am I not getting the results that I want from my goals in my career, that is being mirrored in my romantic life, in the type of quality of relationship or readiness that I've been able to attract in romance. See the parallels? So the way that I'm acting, you know, and if you are, maybe it's reversed for you, maybe you're having more of a struggle play out in your career where you feel like you're selling yourself short in your career, or you're doing something that you can't stand that's really breaking you down and you keep staying there. And then also you're like, man, my love life isn't going so well either. Like, pay attention to how the two categories might metaphorically mirror each other for you. And that might give you a breakthrough of why one might be plateaued. And so when you work on one, the other one benefits. So when you are, like, for instance, I believe that if I can break my bad habits, get in my like ideal highest self early up, get up early and do all the things that I want to do and shift my schedule around, then I think that's going to have an effect on my romantic, like the kinds of like options that I'm meeting in my romantic life too. So I think that there's something I'm on to something there, and it was a very, very exciting revelation. So it happened though because things kept coming up that I started to notice were like almost like a pattern forming to like tell me, like this is it. This is the missing piece of the puzzle. So definitely pay attention to notice the repetitious signs and your inner guidance. This will give you valuable information. Don't ignore those things and blow them off like you're just imagining. Okay. That one. Ooh, oh my gosh, soulmate relationship. Holy shit, you guys. Like we were just saying, new romance with a spiritual basis is here for us now. So, what do we need to do? Because this isn't the romance reading of the week. This is our manifestation reading of the week. And how do we need to focus our energy in our manifestations? Okay, so we need to treat ourselves like a soulmate the way we hope a soulmate would. So we need to follow up on promises we make for ourselves. We need to take an interest in things that are important to us. We need to plan fun dates for ourselves and, do things that bring us joy. And, if like there's this like something you've wanted to learn for a long time or book you've wanted to read or a class you've wanted to take, like maybe this is the time, right? You would want like a partner to do something special for you like that, or take an interest in things that you were interested in or something like that. And so, or just maybe like want to know more about that, how you feel about that. And so that's how you need to care about yourself. It's like showing you that you care about what you care about is the act of doing that. The act of love for yourself in that situation would be go to that museum that you wanted to go to, actually read that book, follow through with that class you wanted to take, or get more into that routine you wanted to do, like take those little things that kind of light you up, that light up your interest, like take yourself seriously by following through and doing those, right? If you have goals, if you have projects that you're working on, like set yourself a set schedule and show up, really consistently for that. And I'm telling myself this too. If you're wanting to take better care of your health and fitness, really drink your water, watch, your diet, eat clean, get out and, do the activities that you say you're going to do. Even when you're in that moment where you're like, I don't think I have the energy or I don't think I have time, push yourself, right? So many times I think, I barely have any time before work. I don't even have time to put my running shoes on. And it's like, no, this is the time where I'm going to do it. I'm going to push myself anyway. Put my shoes on, set my timer, and even if you get a shorter workout in or whatever, give it your all and it'll be better than nothing. You'll feel good about that. And so we need to start treating ourselves, following through with taking responsibility, taking care of our business, being good to ourselves, showing ourselves intimacy by being able to get to know ourselves and becoming comfortable with our own feelings. So no one can love you until you can love yourself. So I think as a result of our devotion to consistency and discipline, I think that is going to call in. I think that might be the thing that's like holding back. That's the last bit of repellent energy that's pushing your soulmate away or keeping them at arm's length rather than like magnetically calling them in. Because the person that you want, your soulmate, in your mind is probably akin to a greater version of yourself, the ideal version of yourself for you. The person who's showing up, like the version of you that's showing up for yourself. that's probably like when you're thinking about, oh, my ideal partner, they're going to be equally yoked with that, if not better, right? So in order to resonate with that person, you have to be stepping into those shoes yourself, ourself. So, even starting with basic things like maybe you're just like, I'm going to commit to paying my bills on time, and I'm going to, keep a clean environment instead of like letting things get out of control and then cleaning. Like, I'm going to keep it neat, and I'm going to, like, start with the basic foundational stuff and then build from there. Rest. You've been working hard. Take a nap and get some rest. This might be my indication that I need to embrace my 2 days off this weekend and not try to push myself. But yes, the rest and the play, those are everything. Because if you get burnout and you're overtired, you get emotional. Your nervous system becomes dysregulated so much more easy. You're a little baby. Look, I'm just a little baby. I want to be swaddled. And when little baby is tired and not swaddled, they throw a huge fit and they tear their clothes apart and they roll all over the ground and they kick and scream. And they don't do what they're supposed to do, and they're overtired for a nap, right? And we push ourselves this far, and then we get emotional and we get despondent, and we have anxiety and we feel despair, and we wonder if it's all coming to an end. Like, we're like, is there any life left for me? And we're just tired, and so many times, when we drive ourselves too hard, and we don't work consciously, but we just work rigorously, and we don't give ourselves that rhythm of Shabbat, then we have this burnout that leads to what I've noticed is like this passive aggression with ourselves, where it's like passive aggressive procrastination, right? We start neglecting those routine consistencies and that simple consistency. It's like we avoid that because we're so burnt out. But the grand, moves and strokes, it was like we weren't, like, being consistent, for instance, little bit every day goes further than trying to cram a bunch in once a week. Like having a big work sesh once a week, it's like you'd be better off and you'd get more momentum and more progress by doing little bits every day. And that is also more sustainable, right? And a lot of times, if we're working that hard all the time, then we may be like not working smarter, but working harder. But like, it may be that we're addicted to the process, or that we are experiencing a form of freezing in like a low-level trauma response, where it's like you're doing the work, or you feel like you're busy, but you're not doing anything to really push the needle forward. You feel productive, you feel in control because you're doing a task, but these aren't tasks that ultimately push the needle forward in the ultimate success of the project. So when we rest and we have rhythm, then we take a break and we separate ourselves from the work for good bits of time. Then we want to go back to it. We're like, ooh, I can't wait to get back in. I've missed my little routine. I've missed my creative project. I want to get back to it. So be consistent, and then every week maybe give yourself an adequate time of rest, maybe a day off where you don't do anything, right? But build that in so that you don't resent the work itself and you don't avoid it. Okay, let's get just a couple of cards from the Wisdom of the Hidden Realms, and then we're out of here. Ooh, the Word Lord. Okay. Communication, praise, dishonesty. So one of the nuances of the last couple of weeks, I think, has been honed in on the results and price we pay for evil tongue. Evil tongue and idle tongue and like negative speech Like, they're very damaging to our energy field. They're like harmful to us. They're harmful to the person that is hearing the evil speech, and it's harmful to the person that the evil speech is about. So it's like it's compounding damage, right? And it's really hard, to avoid it, but it does put negative energy on our scale, and it causes us to have to live out chaos to correct for that. So watching what we say is vital to our own pleasurable experience. It feels good to say something at the time, to vent, to air your grievances, but it ends up backfiring and costing you in the end. So we want to speak positive things. We want to restrict our temptation to speak negatively. And we want to speak conscious intention and blessings into our life. Like, we want to talk in a way that we want to manifest. So if our words are constantly manifesting, then when we're like saying like, oh, I'm so tired, oh, I'm so achy, oh, money's tight, and we're saying these things, we're actually speaking curses on ourselves. And so we want to speak blessing and life, and we want to declare what we want to see happening and not the other way. I think too, we should communicate clearly and honestly. We shouldn't hold back, or play coy or cool or whatever, in whatever instance you might be in. Whether it be maybe you're going after a job and you're trying to play it cool, like you're not, it's not that important to you. Or maybe it's, with like a romantic situation or whatever. Perhaps, what if you were communicating like in an intentional and conscious way, not playing games, but that was even more attractive to the person or the job person when they were like, oh wow, I love the way that this person is so nerdy and over the top and wants to do this so much, let's hire that person. They're so optimistic, they're so enthusiastic, you know what I mean? So communicate honestly and truthfully, and responsibly, and speak blessings into your life. And don't be greedy with praise. If you can encourage someone by speaking positively about them to them, like encouraging someone by emphasizing their good nature, then that might be a positive way to try to address things initially. Because for instance, when you work in a team environment and you have people at different levels that are, working as a team to meet a common goal, sometimes you have to discuss their performance, and not everyone's being an ideal teammate all the time, right? So how do you constructively go about this, in a way that's not going to be evil speech? This is where we get into these complicated, hairy situations in life, because sometimes you're in a situation where it's called for to bring something up, but how do you do it, in a way that is constructive, that's not destroyer consciousness, but creator consciousness. So for the good of the project and the sake of all, but not to tear someone down or cause someone grief or negativity, right? So being mindful, and so maybe in a situation where, say, somebody wasn't ideally performing, you could use praise to emphasize what is ideal and appreciated from the team, and see if they rise to the occasion rather than need to be called out, on their specific shortcomings. So maybe we try that, go that route first. All right. Also, one thing too that's coming through is that when we speak praise about the Creator, when we speak positively about the Creator, when we speak about all the things that we appreciate that the Creator is bringing into our life, that channels blessings through. It protects us. It puts us in this shelter of protection and provision. So declaring the Creator's goodness is an act of not only protection for ourselves, but like real empowerment. Yeah, if you're ever in, like, say, a scary situation or a threatening situation, especially if there's another person with you, then speak about the goodness and greatness of the Creator. Especially when there's two or more gathered or three or more gathered, but I think it's 2 or 3. I can't remember the exact verse right now, but when people are gathered in numbers and there's more than one person in agreement and in prayer, that also emphasizes the power. Let's get one more card. Queen of the Light, illumination, enlightenment, and celebration. So again, if we remember back in the beginning of the video, we were talking about Shavuot had the potential to bring us life-changing illumination and revelation about ourselves that is going to clear the path and clear not all of the blocks, maybe miraculously, but they're going to remove the blocks that have been holding us back, right? Whether it be subconscious defense mechanisms, interconflicting desires, limiting beliefs, our behavior, maybe our inconsistency, showing up for ourselves, how we're treating ourselves, whatever that is, we are getting that revelation that is giving us the profound insight that we need to make real change. And real change that will lead to real results. And it will have like a domino effect, and it will expand the light in our lives. Yeah, I feel good. Well, I think that is all. So over the next week, make sure to, when you have that sacred day or two of rest, when you're taking your Shabbat, make sure to have fun and let your heart kind of open up and warm up and come alive, and not take yourself too seriously. Let go, surrender, and trust that the Creator is bringing everything together. In the meantime, watch your words, speak life into your life, and try to restrict your negative speech, and pay attention to synchronicities. If we can get our shit together and be consistent with ourselves, then that might be the thing that actually ends up bringing our soulmate through. So be consistent with your creative projects and all the things that you've promised yourself and the things that you want to manifest. And we'll see how that goes. Peace.